Well, welcome to the Sandman Show, Super Affiliate Network Maniac. And I see this thing's a little bit fuzzy again today, but I hope that you had a good Easter Sunday. It's almost over here at Eastern Time. I got about 11 or 12 minutes left on the day. And I just wanted to share, I can't remember whether I shared this story with you yet or not, but maybe from a different aspect here this time. But I went in the Army right after I graduated. I graduated late because my folks started me late. I was almost 8 when I started in the first grade. And I started to take another year. I got about halfway through the 5th grade material, and I got to thinking, I don't want to spend all summer doing this. I want to play ball. So I stayed where I was at. So I was like 19 and a half when I graduated from high school. Well, that fall I got drafted into the Army. Actually, I wasn't drafted yet, but they told me I was going to go probably around November. So I had a bunch of friends going in September 6, 1966. So I volunteered for the draft and went in with them. But first I checked to see what they were going to tell me about going, because nobody really wants to go in the Army. Well, I couldn't say that because some people did join. Anyway, in basic training back in Fort Sam, we were all trading, and we had our own little group here. And at the end of your training, you take what they call a PT test, physical training test, to see how you do. And there's, I forget, 500, anyway, there's so many possible points that you can get with all the different activities that you've got to do. And anyway, they have a group of, well, like ours, I must have been 50, 60 guys, or 40 guys, 50. Anyway, nobody had matched that PT test for about 7 months. And you got a group like that going through every week. So our Sergeant Fisher asked our groups, we were divided up into 2 platoons, and he asked the group, if anybody thought that they might be able to do it. Well, I hadn't even thought of trying. That's just out of my realm. Well, right away, my friends who knew me pointed to me and said that I could do it. Nice guys, huh? So anyway, the pressure was put on, and I got to thinking about it. So I started practicing a little bit. It was only not too far away. And the thing that I was worried about, we had to do, I think it was like, I forget, something like 82 sit-ups in so many minutes. Seems like it was 2 minutes. And I don't know, every time I tried it, I couldn't quite make it. I just couldn't quite get them in. So I was a little bit worried about them. I really wasn't too worried about the mile. I was a little bit. So I went out and ran a little bit. But I was worried about those sit-ups. Well, I don't know whether it was the adrenaline or what it was, but I did those sit-ups and had time remaining. So I just stopped, and rested to, figured to save my energy because I had to run the mile yet. And so anyway, when it came to running the mile, it was like 27 degrees and windy. And you're trying to run the mile in your combat boots and your fatigues and a t-shirt. And to top that off, they were redoing the track. And about every so many yards or so, they had a pile of cinders right in the track. You know, it was probably about, half a foot to a foot deep. Well, every time you go through that, it takes more energy and it slows you down. If you go around it, you lose a little bit of time. And, and seconds are really counting here. But anyway, I was going along, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna make it, man. This is tough, with all this wind and all of that. And we had a little sergeant. I'm pretty sure I told you this story, but anyway, not very many of you probably watched it anyway. Sergeant Flores, known as the best dressed soldier, had the best dressed soldier. I mean, you could see yourself in his boots. I mean, he was, just everything was starched to a T. And the first thing I know it, he's running along beside me. Come on, Jorgensen, you can do it, you can do it. He's just scampering away there, But, it really was all I needed to keep going. I was about ready to just give it up. I was so tired. And anyway, so I'm pushing on. And I mean, just right on the second, just about, did the mile. And one of the other sergeants from one of the other platoons, of course, he didn't want to see anybody make it besides, except his group. Now, he claimed I didn't make it. And the other sergeants told me, he said, don't even pay any attention to him. He says, you make everything else, you've got it, Anyway, so I made it. And, we got back to the barracks and everything, and all the guys, my whole group, 30, 40, 50 men, I don't remember how many were in a group, but, they all hauling me around on their shoulders and all, having a party. And, my friend went through basic 6 months later. He said my picture was still on the bulletin board. And anyway, so I felt pretty good about that. But, why would I tell you this story? What does it have to do with things? I didn't think I could do it. I wasn't even going to try to do it. Because, I don't like failure. And I didn't want to make anybody think that I could do something and then not be able to do it. So it was all on those guys, they said I could do it. So then I had to prove it. And it's the same thing, when you're, and if it hadn't been for that little sergeant scampering along there and encouraging me, you need to encourage each other. When you do this business, one of the things that I like about the Sand family, everybody's happy to be in here. I mean, and you meet on those calls every day. I mean, everybody's excited about it, and encouraging everybody else, and it's just a booster. And I really appreciate the boost. You need to give people a boost. And what about you? Do you think that could you use a change? Could you use an extra $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month? Doesn't take too long to get there if you do it right. I don't know about you, but I can. I could very well use it. Whatever I make is above what I'm already getting every month, which is barely enough to go by. That's the kind of guy I am. I live from paycheck to paycheck, have all my life. And when I was in seasonal work, summertime it's feast, wintertime it's famine, because you're not working, or you're working less hours. And every time I got any seniority anywhere, they sold the outfit, and I had to go somewhere else and start all over at the bottom of the totem pole to work my way up so I could work in the winter. I'm so glad I'm done with the workforce. Oh, I have good memories of things that I did, but oh, I'm so glad to be over it. But anyway, I'd like to see you click the button and hit the link and prove it to yourself and prove it to others that you are not a failure and that you are going to go somewheres. You know, this is especially good for us baby boomers. Good share of us are getting into the retirement and the fixed income age, and a lot of retired people need more money than they have. You know, I'm fortunate because I've got the disability with it. But if you don't have any disability and you don't have much retirement, what good's it do to have all that time? Can't do anything. But anyway, click the button, hit the link, watch the video, and sign up. It's only $1, you can get it back, and you're still in. I mean, you can take as long as you want to do anything. It doesn't cost you a thing. Anyway, check it out. I mean, I think you'll like, well, I know, if you give it a good shot and you look it over and you go through the training part, that you will see that this is a working system and you'll watch others working it. So anyway, see you tomorrow. Have a good day. The Sandman Show is over.